Bonjour à tous, merci vous pouvez rejoindre nous pour la séance de la PNQ. À mes côtés, Alwin Sanguili. Bonjour Alwin.
Bonjour Priscilla.
PNQ, leader de l'opposition ce matin, axé aux deux patients qui finissent décédés. HC à l'hôpital Victoria le 9 mars 2025 et que TS à l'hôpital de Sage le 11 mars 2025. Ces deux patients-là, qui fait l'opération dans New Cancer Hospital avant le décès. Jolie Jonga questionne ministre de la Santé Anil Béchou. L'épidémie si fin fait une enquête pour connaître qui n'est arrivé dans ces deux cas-là. Et si tel est le cas, qui ban conclusion de sa ban enquête là, Louis Sengeli?
Oui, donc le New Cancer Hospital, Priscilla, c'est un hôpital donc flambant neuf qui se trouve à Solferino, là où se trouvait l'ex-clinique MedPoint. Donc le nouveau Cancer Hospital, il inauguré le 8 mai 2024, l'année dernière. À l'époque, donc, le Premier ministre, c'était Pravin Jugnauth. C'est un hôpital qui a une capacité d'accueil de 200 personnes, 200 patients. Et il y a aussi un personnel qui est dédié pour les malades cancer. Il est aussi équipé par des machines dernier cri, notamment un accélérateur linéaire, un appareil de radiothérapie robotique CyberKnife, ainsi que le CT scan, MRI, et bien sûr le PET scan qui est dédié à des malades du cancer. C'est un hôpital dont la construction a été financée à hauteur de plus de 1,1 milliard de roupies par le Saudi Fund for Development, le SFD. Et Libon nous rappelle, Priscilla, que le cancer constitue actuellement la troisième cause de mortalité à Maurice. Et il y a une campagne qui peut faire au niveau national pour anticiper le potentiel malade de cancer, avec bien sûr un plan de vaccination, une campagne de vaccination qui est en cours, s'agissant notamment en prévision du cancer de l'utérus, la vaccination en prévention du papillomavirus.
Et le 2 décembre 2024, Halloween, ministre de la Santé, Anil Béchou, qui fait une visite à l'hôpital New Cancer Center de Vakwa pour évaluer ce fonctionnement. Dans une déclaration, ministre Béchou dit que sa centre-là n'a pas pu fonctionner à sa pleine capacité. Les fins rappeler que le centre qui inauguré en mai de l'année dernière, donc avec un investissement, comment on peut dire, 1,1 milliard de roupies pour offrir un traitement de cancer de haute qualité et grâce à une infrastructure moderne et un équipement et une machine de pointe. Le ministre de la Santé fin constaté que certains blocs opératoires ainsi que plusieurs machines et équipements de haute technologie sont hors de service. Tandis qu'il y a les autres qui étaient en cours de mise en service. Les fin également souligné un retard et un manque de médecins spécialisés. Le ministre fin insisté la nécessité urgente qui l'hôpital là est entièrement opérationnel dans un plus bref délai pour donner à un patient un meilleur traitement disponible localement. Les fin également souligné qu'il y a un fonctionnaire pour nommer au ministère de la Santé pour garantir non seulement le bon fonctionnement de tout ban machine et ban équipement, mais aussi pour qu'il ban patient capable gagner accès facile et bénéficier d'un traitement rapide à l'hôpital à lui.
Oui, Priscilla, le constat qui est fait par le ministre Béchou, donc le 2 décembre 2024, nous rappelle que c'était quelques jours, quelques semaines après sa prise de fonction comme nouveau ministre de la Santé. Donc, c'était un nouveau hôpital et qui espérait que tout type bien fonctionne proprement, convenablement. Malheureusement, dans ce constat, il ne tout ça une carence là. Et maintenant, peut-être dans sa réponse tout à l'heure à la PNQ de Jolie Jonga, il est capable de dire est-ce que sa bonne carence là, il réussit rétabli, une réussi, comment dire, trouve une solution pour faire l'hôpital fonctionne à plein régime. Les bons rappellent, Priscilla aussi, que le cancer, en 2023, il y a une statistique qui date de 2023, le cancer qui cause 1546 décès à Maurice, une maladie qui touche de plus en plus de femmes. Nous rappelle qu'il y a 1636 nouveaux cas recensés pour les cancers de madame, notamment le cancer du sein, le cancer du côlon, qui est plus prépondérant, plus fréquent chez les femmes, alors que chez les hommes, il y en a 1205 nouveaux cas enregistrés, et chez les hommes, c'est le cancer de la prostate qui est le plus répandu.
Alors, dans un petit moment, nous parlons en direction de l'Assemblée nationale pour suivre cette PNQ de Joe Lejongar, adressée donc au ministre de la Santé sur décès de deux patients, un à l'hôpital Victoria et l'autre à l'hôpital Sage. Donc, ces deux patients-là nous rappellent qui fait l'opération dans New Cancer Hospital avant de décéder. Alors, nous mettons tout de suite le cap sur l'Assemblée nationale.
Announcements done. Papers have been laid. Questions?
Yes. Honourable Leader of the Opposition, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I've given notice of the following private question addressed to the Honourable Minister of Health and Wellness, whether in regard to the death of patients HC and TS, which occurred on 9th March 2025 at the Victoria Hospital and on 11th March 2025 at the Sir Anirudh Jagannath Hospital, respectively, and having both undergone prior surgical interventions at the New Cancer Hospital, he will state if any inquiry has been carried out thereinto, and if so, indicate the outcome thereof in each case. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker,
Yes, Minister.
allow me at the very outset to convey my deepest sympathy to the bereaved families. I'm informed that patient HC was referred from Jawaharlal Nehru Hospital to National Cancer Center. Madam Speaker, I have the full medical record for the patient, but as it is confidential information and without the patient's written approval, in this case, the relatives' written consent, I cannot disclose same today in Parliament. Madam Speaker, with regard to patient TS, was referred from SSR National Hospital on 17th February 2025. I cannot again, Madam Speaker, state the medical history of the patient and the treatment received without the relatives' written consent. I wish to inform the House that in both cases, preliminary investigations have been carried out and there is no evidence of medical negligence. They were extremely complicated cases. Nevertheless, the newly constituted Medical Negligence Committee will review both cases. Madam Speaker, upon my assumption of office, I took note that there were 30 outstanding cases of alleged medical negligence which required immediate attention. My ministry is currently carrying out an audit of these cases, and to date 15 cases have already been audited. These two cases will also be audited in due course. In fact, I noted that the procedures which were put in place earlier were very lengthy, resulting in significant delays in the resolution of such cases. There has been a growing dissatisfaction among members of public, with several complaints expressing their frustration and dissatisfaction on the prolonged time taken for conclusion of investigation which spans over years. In order to address these shortcomings, I have reviewed all procedures and have already set up the new Medical Negligence Committee. The Medical Negligence Committee will be chaired by Mrs. Veerapan, Senior Advisor at my ministry, and will comprise the following members: Dr. Babade, Senior Advisor; Dr. Gejadar, Senior Advisor; a representative of Attorney General's Office; a manager, Human Resources Hospital Services, and consultant specialists in relevant field will be co-opted as and when required. For each case of suspected medical negligence, a team will be appointed by Director Health Services for Hospital Services, comprising a regional health director from a hospital other than the one where negligence is alleged to have occurred, and a consultant in charge in relevant specialty from the hospital, other than the one where negligence is alleged to have occurred. In order to ensure prompt action, the team will collect all necessary information and submit a report to the MNC within 48 hours. The MNC will have the power to convene any officers concerned, and the complainant for further explanation are required. The MNC will submit its report to Senior Executive of my ministry with its recommendation for further action within 1 month of receipt of the preliminary report. Appropriate actions in line with the PSC regulations will be taken where required. In addition, the following measures are being introduced to improve the patient safety in our healthcare system. Weekly mortality meetings will be chaired by the regional health directors to review all deaths reported in hospitals, identify preventable causes, and address lapses in care. Monthly reports will be submitted to Director of Health Services for follow-up, and clinical auditing will be introduced across all health regions to identify errors with a view to reducing medical negligence. In the same line, healthcare providers will be trained in auditing, and findings will be incorporated into the continuing professional development program. Monthly audit reports will be submitted to regional health directors to track progress and ensure continuous improvement in care. Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that National Cancer Hospital is equipped with 4 surgical operation theatres, but no human resource planning has been carried out to have the services of even a single oncological surgeon. Because of that, we are having collaboration of foreign teams, especially from India, to carry out surgeries of complex cases of cancer. The National Cancer Centre was inaugurated last year on 8th May 2024, and equipments lie idle, locked up in rooms in the centre. In addition, consumables had already expired. After a site visit that effected immediately after taking office, I gave instructions for all equipment to be installed and surgeries to be carried out promptly. As at now, 62 surgeries regarding cancer have been conducted. As from 7 February 2025 to 12 surgeries were conducted by foreign surgeons and 50 conducted by local team. Unfortunately, there have been 2 deaths. Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that pancreatic head cancer is a type of pancreatic cancer that arises in the head, rightmost part of the pancreas, which is near the duodenum. It is the most common location for pancreatic cancer and unfortunately carries a high mortality rate. Median survival is often 6 to 12 months or less without treatment. The mortality is high as it is often diagnosed late. As early symptoms such as jaundice, weight loss, abdominal pain or vague, the tumor is aggressive and fast spreading, especially to nearby vessels and lymph nodes. Response to chemotherapy and radiation is limited compared to other cancers. Overall survival rate is less than 10%. Cholangiocarcinoma is a bile duct cancer and has a generally poor prognosis, largely due to its often late diagnosis and aggressive nature. Prognosis depends on factors such as tumor location, stage at diagnosis, and whether surgical resection is possible. Medium survival 6 to 12 months. Depending on response to chemotherapy, survival rate is less than 5%. Madam Speaker, I would like to thank the medical team. Despite all the risk involved in complex cases in performance of their duties, I wish to inform the House that Dr. D, Senior Consultant and Head of Minimal Access Oncology Survey, Department of Surgical Oncology, Sparks Hospitals, Bengaluru, India, performed the surgery. He is known to be an efficient and well-established surgical oncologist with a wide experience in performing several oncology surgeries. I would like to thank the medical team and despite all risks involved in complex cases, I wish to inform that another Mauritian doctor was also involved in the operation. He is also fully qualified and he has conducted a series of surgical operations in our country. And I would like to thank both of them for the work that they had done. Unfortunately, 2 deaths has occurred. For this, we are extremely sorry.
Thank you, Minister. Leader of the Opposition. Supplementary question.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. I also wish to convey my deepest condolences to the bereaved family. This is a very serious issue, Madam Speaker. May I ask the Honourable Minister to confirm whether the ICU at the new cancer hospital is operational, or whether patients after undergoing surgery have to be transferred to other hospitals for post-surgery monitoring?
Madam Speaker, this is a fact that we do not have an ICU as at now in the new cancer hospital. Before opening any hospital, it should have been the duty of the then government to take cognizance of the fact that this is a cancer hospital. Nothing was done. And secondly, Madam Speaker, we have hundreds of people, hundreds of patients they are queuing up. They are queuing up hundreds of patients, and in order to undergo such treatment. And it is extremely impossible for any government to send all those cancer patients to India. Extremely impossible. And that is the reason why we have started the surgical operation, keeping in mind that in Flak Hospital we have got a modern, a complex ICU where patients are sent, and also at Victoria Hospital. It is a fact. Everybody should understand that this was in all four that hospital was open, but in fact there was nothing, not the least equipment which was in use. And thanks to this government, and thanks at least to our Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, they have their eyes on that hospital, and we are doing our utmost best. Even the PET scan to be on, let us say, within a month or so.
Thank you, Minister.
He has said what...
Please, one moment. This is a very serious matter. I don't think we should joke too much. We understand what the Minister said. We also understand what he said about the past government. Let the Honourable Leader of the Opposition carry on with his supplementary questions. You can also ask supplementary questions. Please.
Madam Speaker, he is now the Minister.
Yes.
He should have taken the right
Don't
decisions.
say he.
Will he agree?
Don't say he.
The Honourable Minister, will he
That's-
agree that this procedure is not only problematic, Madam Speaker, but it is dangerous and catastrophic?
Madam Speaker, when 62 surgical oncological operations have been undertaken, unfortunately, as I told you, there have been 2 deaths. What should the government have done? So we don't have the ICU. In fact, we are in the months to come, you will be having a modern ICU in that hospital. There was no other way than to start the operation. I can't allow patients to die without being attended medically.
Thank you.
Will he confirm that patient TS, after his surgical intervention, which was a very complex intervention, was transferred from the new cancer hospital to Sage Hospital at Flak, which is from 45 minutes to 1 hour away, thereby exposing that patient to complication, infections, and life-threatening conditions, Madam Speaker?
Be short and sweet and direct in your answer,
Yes.
please.
It was in the patient himself expressed the wish that he be operated. He expressed the wish, and we had to do it. And as I told you, in Mauritius, we have got one modern intensive care unit that is found at Flak. Madam Speaker, I have to be short. Yes, the House should know that my ministry, we need, that is governed, we have got 2.2 billion rupees of debt they have left. How can you expect us overnight to start a new intensive care unit? We haven't paid 575 million rupees for the COVID, though they were charging 2 rupees per litres of petrol. That tax they have taken, but that money they haven't paid. They are owing almost 1.2 billion rupees as overtime to those workers, to those medical and paramedical workers who are working in the hospital. Despite all these constraints, I can say thank you all the paramedical and medical staff.
Is the Honourable Minister aware that that patient sent a mail to his ministry expressing his apprehensions of being operated in Mauritius because he had been in front of a medical board whereby they had approved that he be operated abroad, Madam Speaker?
Yes, Minister.
Madam Speaker, normally there is a board comprising of 3 medical experts. They take all cases one by one. They take, and all cases are dealt by them, and that board decides whether the patient is fit to travel or not. And there are other aspects that take into consideration. But let me remind the honorable member, almost 4 to 5 cases are sent to India almost every week, which is itself something extraordinary, which was not there in the past. If this would have been referred by the medical team, definitely we would have taken the decision to send him abroad.
Okay.
So he's aware of the mail that was sent on the 20th of February to his ministry by that patient. Can you also confirm whether the other patient, HC, was also, after his operation, was transferred to Victoria Hospital for post-surgery monitoring, and that patient passed away 2 days later?
I have already mentioned in the beginning, a National Cancer Hospital was almost naked when you took over. And I couldn't have left patients to die without being treated. That would have been a crime according to law of this country. And we had to save lives. And the member, he didn't tell the House, that patient, he expressed his wish to be operated by a foreign doctor. And in fact, his wish was fulfilled. But unfortunately, as I told you, that was pancreatic cancer. I am not a doctor. But everybody knows we have to speak the truth, nothing but the truth. It's almost impossible for survival. But we did our best because there is hope so long as there is life.
Yes, in one moment, he caught my eye. Mr. Dr. Lumia.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
He already asked for the floor.
I'm sure may the Honourable Minister of Health confirm to the House and inform the House that the percentage of complications of such high-risk surgery, big pancreatic surgery or cologenestomy, is more than 10%. And in this case, it's 2 out of 52, which is only 3%. And we have to be grateful to the surgeons who came from India and not make political mileage on the dead bodies.
Madam Speaker, I have just mentioned, it's true, 2 cases out of 60. So 2 is too much, but still we have to thank our doctors and the medical team for the work that they are performing. And I don't want to be taken wrong. If you look at all the hospitals in the country, the percentage of death, I'm sorry to say so, is higher than what it is in National Cancer Hospital. I'm sorry to you have used this language.
Of course. Yes, your next question.
Yeah. Can the Honourable Minister inform the House whether all the foreign doctors were granted temporary registration under the Medical Council Act? And if so, can you confirm whether the necessary documentation were issued?
Madam Speaker, I have to look into the matter, because normally the procedures are done by the staff of my ministry, by the officers concerned. But one thing I can tell you, yes. The answer I'm getting is yes. And again, one thing I'll say, it is important we should not impute motives on foreign friends who are coming to serve our country. Because they don't take money. They only take, at times, most of them, they take the travel, and then we give them accommodation and almost one dinner, that is all. And they are performing miracles in our country. We have to be redevable envers them.
Thank you.
Now,
Yes,
if he says so, will he table the necessary documentation with regard to...
I don't see the point.
Yeah, I'm asking him whether he will table.
What is it? I couldn't get
Whether
it.
you will table...
Whether he
let
will
me-
table-
Whether you will table the documentation regarding his last question about foreign doctors.
Madam Speaker,
there's nothing
Madam
to
Speaker,
hide?
yes, I don't have anything to hide, but as the procedure is, I have to get the clearance from the State Law Office.
course.
At least I get advice. But I would like to ask the leader of the opposition. He should have apologized to the House for the incompetence of the former Minister of Health.
Madam Speaker, he cannot ask me question. I ask him question now.
What can I do? I mean,
Madam Speaker, is he aware that one of the doctors who performed surgery at the new cancer hospital did not have the necessary authorization from the Medical Council?
I have just mentioned that I'm going to ask the officers, because this work is done by the officers of my ministry with the doctors. I have to ask, but again I would like to say that I don't have anything against the doctors who are coming voluntarily, most of them, to perform surgical operations in Mauritius. If such types of questions simple questions start cropping up, that will deter them from coming to Mauritius because they are serving our nation. Don't forget about it.
Honourable Leader of the Opposition, it's just you have to put in the balance what is more important. See what I mean? Yes, what is more important? Yes.
Now, given the serious concerns regarding patient safety at the new cancer hospital and the recent death that I've mentioned, would the ministry support the setting up of a fact-finding committee chaired by an independent person to look into those cases?
I find it very strange because the member at that time when dozens of them passed away without food, shelter and without basic necessities, they did not seek it fit to condemn those actions. Today, he wants a fact-finding committee to be set up. I have already told you the preliminary report which was submitted to me. Unfortunately, I can't read it out because of certain things which are very secret. According to the preliminary report, everything was done well to the satisfaction of my ministry and the doctors. But despite it, we have submitted to the negligence committee and they will look at it.
Yes, I was going to say there's a medical council with a committee to do this kind of investigation already by law. Yes, Mr. Duval.
May I ask the Minister, he has mentioned the backlog of cases, 15 cases so far audited. I have mentioned the audit of cases of alleged medical negligences. Can I ask the Minister, in view of the backlog, especially cases that occurred during COVID period, which were not properly looked into, is the Minister prepared to bring to Parliament an amendment to law for the extension of the limitation to bring a claim against a doctor or the state for medical negligence? When you have a medical practitioner, which is 2 years.
You can't ask that of the minister because it doesn't concern just his ministry. It concerns everybody.
May I rephrase? Is government prepared to review the limitation period, which is only 2 years, and in many cases is unsatisfactory in view of the backlog?
I get the feeling.
You don't need to answer that. The Attorney General in due course will address this issue. Okay? This is an overall question. Doesn't concern. I am saying again, please sit down. I am talking. I am saying again that you cannot ask him for his ministry because claims against government come on any sort of subject. So you cannot ask him to give you that answer. But I'm sure he's noted, and maybe government has noted, and this question may be thrashed out at one point. I have a few minutes left only. Yes, your last question.
Now, can I ask the Honourable Minister to confirm to this House whether those patients who had undergone surgery at the new cancer hospital had to undergo multiple reoperations due to complications related to the first surgery?
Madam Speaker, I mentioned 62 cases. If in 1 or 2 cases, I don't know, but the answer I am receiving is no, they didn't have to go all types of, multiple types of intervention, that is not the case.
But even so, I mean, it's a medical issue. It's a medical issue and not a political issue. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much, everybody. Yes.
Voilà donc pour cette PNQ du leader de l'opposition axée ce matin aux 2 patients qui finissent décédés, HC à l'hôpital Victoria le 9 mars 2025 et que TS à l'hôpital de Sage le 11 mars 2025. 2 patients qui ont fait l'opération dans New Cancer Hospital avant le décès. Joël Jonga qui fin questionne ministre de la Santé Anil Béchou, les fin demander s'il fin fait une enquête pour connaître qui finit arrivé dans ces deux cas-là et si tel est le cas, qui ban conclusion. D'abord, le ministre Béchou fin présente son sympathie à la famille endeuillée. Alors, il dit qu'il y a l'information concernant ces deux cas-là, mais vu qu'il y a pénal consentement des familles, donc il n'est pas pour capable de donner l'information. Mais il dit quand même qu'à ce stade, selon l'information préliminaire, un rapport préliminaire, qu'il y a pénal évidence de négligence médicale. Il dit que c'était un cas complexe, mais il dit qu'il peut y avoir une enquête approfondie qui peut faire par negligence medical negligence committee, et il dit que ce nouveau comité là, il peut présider par Madame Virapen, pour y avoir entre autres comme membre le docteur Gadjador et le docteur Pavadé, et qu'il peut y avoir également un représentant du bureau de l'attorney général, entre autres. Alors, le ministre Béchou fin dire que le cancer pancréas est très, très complexe. Il dit qu'il y a deux médecins qui fin occupent ça des patients-là. Zut fin fait, zut baisse pour sauver zut la vie. Finalement, une question de Joe Lejonga qui fin ou les connaît. Est-ce que ICU li opérationnel dans New Cancer Center? Le ministre Béchou fin dire qu'il péna ICU dans Cancer Hospital. Il dit qu'il fait ouvert l'hôpital en fort, mais péna l'équipement. Et finalement, une intervention à lui de la speaker pour qui le leader de l'opposition capable continue pose cette question parce qu'il tient à pétapaz. La speaker Chérie Lomérodi Zifra qui dit que c'est un sujet important. Et finalement, plusieurs questions additionnelles. Donc, le ministre Joe Lejonga qui peut de précision, c'est qu'il fait mettre quand même quelque peu le ministre de la Santé hors de lit, et finalement aussi intervention du député Omia.
Oui, donc, Président, comme tu peux dire, suite à une question de relance donc du leader de l'opposition, Joe Lejonga, Anil Béchou fin dire qu'il y a beaucoup d'explications qui nous visent à rôder sous l'ancien régime qui dit vous avez une dépense beaucoup casse durant le Covid. Malheureusement, il finit d'un manque de planification et qui fait comme il dit, il servi Cancer Hospital was naked when we took government. Voulant dire que l'hôpital était là, oui, les 4 murs, mais c'était une coquille vide. Donc, pas de planification pour la présence d'un ICU unit qui est opérationnel, comme Tibizan était, parce qu'il comment est capable d'opérer Bandimoun dans un hôpital, mais qui, derrière, un ICU unit pour faire la prise en charge. Et nous finirons remarquer aussi que le député paul-louisien Faradomi a fait lever lui aussi. Donc, pour défendre ce collègue ministre de la Santé, il vient dire que le taux de mortalité pour ce cancer complexe, un cancer de pancréas, donc, il tourne autour de 10%, mais qu'il a, si nous avons un chiffre, bien sûr, un cas c'est déjà beaucoup, mais si nous prenons le chiffre de 2 personnes décédées sur un total d'une 60aine d'opérations effectuées, il tourne autour de 2 à 3%, donc, il dit qu'il ne sait pas. Il déplore le fait que le leader de l'opposition, Joe Lejonga, s'est servi un sujet aussi sensible pour faire de la politique, l'Indiali. Et ensuite, nous finissons aussi l'intervention d'Adrien Duval. Donc, l'élite connaît est-ce que le gouvernement ou le ministre est capable de revoir le délai pour lequel un dimoun ou la famille d'un patient décédé capable de gagner pour demander l'enquête d'étudier actuellement le délai de 2 ans. Est-ce qu'il est capable d'extendre ce délai-là?
Oui, alors sinon, au Parlement, toujours tout à l'heure, à Louine, une condition sanitaire dans une prison avec un centre de détention, modification législative concernant un programme télévisé qui produit localement avec l'autorisation de un opérateur privé pour diffuser, ou encore gestion de une caméra Safe City pour protéger la vie privée de un citoyen. Autant de questions donc qui peuvent adresser au Premier ministre Navid Ramgoulam.
Oui, dans la séance du PMQT, mais derrière, il y en a 89 questions donc à l'ordre du jour pour le question time. Et surtout, il y a un projet de loi qui peut venir très important, le National Agency for Drug Control Bill, qui vous présenter en première lecture par le Premier ministre ce mardi. Donc, c'est un projet de loi qui peut venir pousser, remplace donc la NATRESA, qui autrefois tu peux occuper tout ça problème lié à la drogue. Donc, les dotés d'une structure organisationnelle renforcée, comprenant notamment un département dédié à la recherche, un département axé au traitement et réhabilitation, et aussi une cellule très importante, une cellule de sensibilisation du public par rapport au fléau de la drogue.
Et voilà donc pour ce compte-rendu de la séance de la PNQ. Pour capable suivre de larges extraits de cette PNQ dans le journal de 13h qui est présenté par Douchila Mansing. Merci à vous, Alwin Sangili.
Merci Priscilla, merci aux auditeurs qui nous ont suivis.